everybody. Welcome back once again to the RetroGameFix.com Retro Jones podcast number 83. This is your host, Mitch.
And this is Mike.
What up? So today
What's up?
So today what we're gonna do is we're gonna jump right into kind of the hot topic of the week. Mike, why don't you lead us into this?
Yeah, we've got a jam-packed episode, but the one topic that hit the internet this week is Nintendo NX news broke.
And we kind of officially know what it is now.
I think so. So
idea.
Eurogamer broke some specs and broke the news about what the Nintendo NX will be. And for those that haven't read the article, essentially it is a handheld device that has essentially it looks like a Wii U tablet, but I'm assuming it's a little bit smaller. So it's like essentially a phone, and on the two sides of it, there are two controllers that essentially snap into the sides that can be detached. So on the right side, you've got your four buttons and a joystick. On the left side, you have your D-pad and a joystick, and they can snap in and out of essentially this tablet or phone. In addition, it sounds like there's going to be a docking station that you can plug into your TV, unsnap these controllers, dock this thing, and play your portable games on your TV. It was announced that it's going to have a Targa chip or something. I forgot the actual chip. Anyway, it's an NVIDIA chip. It's a mobile graphics chip.
Okay.
Targa 2 or something like that. And it. What else about it am I missing? I mean, that's essentially it. Oh, and it's going to continue to use cartridges. So essentially, this is a cross handheld device that you can dock to your TV, play games, disconnect the controllers, and go.
So I still don't quite understand how the controllers are supposed to work. Do they like kind of swivel out, or do they physically like disconnect from the thing?
They physically disconnect. So
there's like a little docking thing that you just unsnap them and.
Right. So imagine you were you're holding your phone in landscape, and you could just like connect two like a right half and a left half on each side.
I see what you're saying. I thought they were like in it already, and then you just like unsnapped them or something.
No.
Right,
then you snap it on it, and then you can snap them off. So I don't know. I'm excited about it. I think it's a great move for Nintendo, and we've talked about this before, but
there's been so much speculation coming up to it. Like, what is the Nintendo NX?
Right. Yeah, and I think we kind of knew that it was going to be a handheld console, kind of hybrid, right? And it turns out that it's more of a handheld that you can plug into your TV, and I think that's kind of where we assumed it was going.
The only thing that we had kind of assumed at one point was that it would be wireless. You could wirelessly like somehow connect to your TV, like if there's a dongle or something, like in your TV. That'd be a good idea.
Right. So I actually have a little bit of speculation on that I haven't heard anyone else talk about, but I think this is great. For me, you know, you hear a lot of people saying Nintendo needs third-party support. They need to compete with Microsoft and Sony. I don't think that, right?
No.
There's how many places do you need to play Madden? How many places do you need to play Call of Duty, right? You just don't. And I think with Nintendo's franchises and with really this mobile I really feel like Nintendo's going to get third-party support, just not in the space that everybody thinks they should, and I just don't think they should. I think this is awesome, man. It's a Nintendo handheld, which they're awesome at, that I can dock to my TV and play great Nintendo games.
Well, that's the thing. You're not gonna. I couldn't care less if there's a fucking Call of Duty that comes out in the Nintendo NX. I mean, stuff like that. Like we've talked about this umpteen times as well. It's like when you buy a Nintendo system, you expect to play Nintendo games. Of course, if there's some third-party support that works on it, great. But like Nintendo, for the most part, you're there for the Nintendo games. That's what they have going for them. That's what they've always had going for them.
Right. And so here's part of it that a lot of people are kind of going, well, it's this mobile processor, and you know the power's not going to be there. A, I don't care about the power with Nintendo games. And B, I almost wonder, so you've got these new systems coming out for Sony and Xbox that if you have the new PlayStation that's coming out or the Xbox Scorpio coming out next year, it'll scale the graphics up and the performance for that newer console. But you can still play whatever game that comes out for the newer console and the old one. I'm almost wondering if this docking station might have its own processing unit where when you're docked, it maybe up-reses the graphics or makes it look nicer or gives you added functionality. I'm curious to see how that works. But I don't think it's just as simple as, oh, I can plug my 3DS into my TV. I think it's going to be more than that, and I think it's a great direction. That's I think what everybody wanted. And if you think about something like a Zelda, right? You're like, oh my God, this Zelda game's amazing. It's huge. It's great. I don't want to stop playing it. Oh, you know what? I can undock this thing and bring it to work.
Well, and not to mention, I hope these are two decent points, but some thoughts that occurred to me is, one, first of all, like, it's not about like realism for Nintendo franchises. It's, they're still cartoony. All of them are cartoony in general, like, in nature. And that's one of the things we love about them. But the other thing was this, since they still have physical media, I don't know how big the cartridges will be or anything like that, but you think back, well, it doesn't even matter at this point. Think back to like the Super Nintendo. I mean, how many different chips did they have that would upgrade, your graphics, like on the DSP chips and like all that stuff that you kind of had a little extra processing oomph from specific games that needed it as well. I mean, is that a thing or am I just being ignorant?
No, that's a thing. But I mean, in this instance, yeah, I mean, yes, they're cartoony. And
if you need, no, I'm talking the second thing first. I mean, is that a fair point? I mean, if you need it in the game, since you still have physical media, I mean, is it possible that they could? Is it possible that could be a thing that they could just upgrade it within the cart?
Oh, I don't know if they could upgrade it within the cart, because we're essentially talking flash-based media here. It's just flash discs or cartridge-based stuff. But
assuming, right?
Yeah, assuming, yes. But I wouldn't. I would think that there would be some sort of upgrade path for the docking piece. The difference is, though, they always need to make sure that they're developing games that this thing can handle on its own on the go that isn't going to eat up a ton of battery life.
Yeah, that's true.
So we'll see where that goes. But I mean, into the cartridge point, I assume we're going to see something similar to 3DS carts.
Yeah, if not, though, this is just a thought. Like I said, if you look back on the Super Nintendo, they had a lot of different chips, like the Super FX chips, DSP chips, and all that stuff. And then you look back at even the NES and like Micro Machines and stuff. They had the whatever the hell that chip was that they used in several games or whatever. So, well, I mean, and that wasn't Nintendo. I guess that was third party. So.
Well, and that would be possible. I think the only reason you wouldn't see it now is because I'm sure publishers and developers are already a little bit weary on the fact that physical media is probably going to cost them a little bit more out of the gate.
Yep.
And then adding extra cost by adding maybe an onboard RAM chip or something like that. I don't think you're going to see that. But the one thing that I like about cartridge based stuff now is there's no reason to have optical drives in anything anymore.
Right.
And B, if you put in a cartridge at this point, especially a high speed flash based cartridge, there isn't a need to install the game from a speed standpoint because your access to that cart is going to be just as fast as access to a hard drive. And that's why optical media is just so old right now. And that's why if you get an optical disc, put in your PlayStation 4, it just installs the entire game to the hard drive and essentially just uses the disc as verification that you still own the game. Third, you could still potentially throw in 250 gig or whatever it might be, flash-based card if you did want to transfer, digital downloads. I don't know. I think the whole thing just sounds amazing. I've heard mixed responses.
Like opinions or
mixed opinions about it. A lot of people, just a few of the podcasts I listen to, a lot of people are kind of on the side that like this is the logical move for Nintendo. They're great in the mobile space. This allows you to play it on your TV if you want to. Some of the opinions I've heard are, hey, it sounds like they're maybe marketing to the wrong crowd. Why would adults really want this?
I'm an adult. I want one.
Yeah, I do. A couple other opinions have just been really geared around the business aspect of the cost of cartridges, which I don't understand because we're essentially talking flash-based media here. I just don't think it's that big of a hurdle for people to overcome. Granted, it is going to be proprietary in a sense, but I just don't feel like that's a big jump right now. And I got to be honest with you, I think after the PlayStation Neo and Xbox Scorpio come out, I think those are going to be the last we see of actual optical-based media.
Right.
Just because performance-wise, we've kind of come full circle where cartridges are now cheap, flash media is cheap, and it's faster, more reliable, and it's better. And you don't have to put, quite frankly, you don't have to put an optical drive into your system, which makes it smaller, makes it run cooler. It's one less thing that can break, one less thing that can break. I don't know, man. I think this is, I am excited. If this is what it is, count me in. Day one, I'm in.
Well, so when have they taught what's the implied release date? I mean, like when exactly?
March 2017.
Okay,
is the speculated release date, and I think Nintendo maybe even said that as well. But
right, cool.
So. Yeah, big stuff. I mean, I guess stay tuned. It's just exciting because this is kind of the first leak that we've gotten.
The first like actual leak, because we've gotten like fake ones as well. Like that we remember the one that was just all like a tap. There wasn't any physical like thumb pad or thumbsticks or anything like that.
Right, the 3D printed stuff. Yeah,
that was like that, and it looked stupid. It looked extremely stupid. And then we thought for a second that it could possibly be like virtual reality or some kind of virtual reality based thing, which was intriguing, but it was also like, you look at the gimmicky side of Nintendo, like what Nintendo's been, has done. And, I don't know.
Well, this is one of those things that, things only end up being a gimmick if it doesn't work. Right. Yeah. And this is one of those things where, I guess at face value, it probably comes across as a little gimmicky, but I just feel like this is something functional.
No, I think it's cool
that I actually want to use.
Right.
And look, I think mobile processing, for anybody that's concerned about, the power, look, you can get more power than a Wii U out of a mobile phone right now. We're in a space right now where, and cost is certainly in the conversation, but we have quad-core CPUs, crazy GPUs in phones. And now, yes, some phones are $600-700. I get it. But there's a little more tech in there than just the need to run games. And I think as far as pricing, I'd love to see it at $199.
Yeah.
And then you accessorize up from there for what you need. That would be the sweet spot. I feel like we're going to be looking at $249 or $299.
Yeah, I think they're probably gonna swoop in high like they always do.
They always seem to do that, and it's also kind of Nintendo's deal. Nintendo, I don't think has ever sold a console as a loss leader in order to sell accessories and games.
Right.
With something like this, though, which is so probably accessory heavy, I hope they try to come in a little lower because $199 is almost an impulse buy.
Yeah,
and even the $249, just that $249 doesn't quite sound right. I'm just like, man, if you can get in at $199, and they launch it with Zelda,
right?
That thing's gonna come out of the gate running.
Yeah, it has a lot of good potential at that point. So yeah, that's exciting. So looking forward to hearing more about it. To be honest,
yeah. Like I said, all we have right now is some rumors, but I don't know. It's finally nice to hear something about it. And if they're coming out March 2017. They're going to have to start talking about this thing sometime soon.
Right.
You can't go Sega on it and be like, hey, we haven't told you anything about it. Oh, it's available right now. Sega Saturn.
Exactly.
Right. You can't do that. So, stay tuned, man. It's going to be cool.
It's exciting. Cool. And it's, and I know we'll talk about that, as the information comes in and stuff, but, it seems to be trickling in. So that's interesting. So we do have a lot of stuff to talk about today. So we're kind of going to be jumping around a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and get this thing out of the way. Everybody knows the last 3 or 4 weeks, especially the last 3 or 4, maybe the last 6 podcasts. I don't know. I've been like pinball obsessed basically ever since the Southern Fried Game Room Expo. I pinpointed it because somebody was like, when did you like all of a sudden get the pinball bug again? And thought back and I was like, well, it was right after the expo. I think I played I played some awesome pins at the expo and I was like, you know what? I'm really bored with what I have, so I'm going to swap some out for some pins. So anyway, long story short, that has been my obsession here for a while. And last week we were talking about how I almost pulled off a trade for my Tron and for the Kiss and the Bally Playboy. And then I decided, you know what? I want instant gratification, damn it, because that's who we are, I think. So
I think that's accurate.
I think that's an accurate statement, exactly. So I sold my Missile Command, I sold my Tron. Now I got a big stack of cash. My Mad Planets is coming up sometime soon as well. I guess within the next 2 weeks on the 13th. So I will have an even bigger stack of cash. So I'm plotting and planning on my stacks of cash right here. I think I did bring up last time that somebody had a Pinbot and an F-14 Tomcat in West Virginia that I was interested in, but unfortunately I have to wait and see if a guy shows up tomorrow to pick them up. And the shipping is going to be like $470 for this. So that's kind of puts a damper on it. But I would love to have those 2 games. And then, I'm thinking about that. And if that actually comes through tomorrow, I have to think about it because then I kind of jumped around a little bit. I was telling you, I was like, this is kind of like a weird title that I'm really interested in. I'm interested in it because my wife was playing it a lot. And then was like, I want one of these. So with that part of the money, I also am interested in buying a Roller Coaster Tycoon, which Stern in 2002 had come out with this. They had released it along. I think the ones I think of in that class of pinballs from that year were like they did a Monopoly one, which I thought was pretty cool, and a Ripley's Believe It or Not as well. So I think they're all about the same style or the same era or whatever. So anyways, the thing about this, I've read a lot of threads about some people are really passionate about it. I think it's a really, really good game. It's like a really underrated game. It's one of those Sterns that we were talking about last week that I feel like, sometimes they either go one of 2 ways. Either the Sterns go to like $2,000 a couple of years later, or they go to like $6,000 or $7,000, or at least keep their value at 55. So this is one of those that went the other way. It went to $2,000. It's about $2,000 pin at this point, but a lot of people think it's underrated, and it's maybe a few tweaks in the code or possibly, just a design tweak away from being one of those like high end, really sought after Stern pins. So the one thing, and I can say this, I said this to you the other day too. It's a Pat Lawler game. And Pat Lawler as a designer is some of my favorite pinball machines. So it's really cool in that respect. But the problem is, and I think this is why it's a $2,000 pin, is because design wise, they put a freaking troll doll in a dunk tank, which doesn't make any sense.
It looks ridiculous.
It's stupid. It's one of those things that I'm like, I guess I could put like a Ninja Turtle in there or something like that. But
I don't understand why it's even there. I looked at it and I went, what the F?
I know. The game is awesome. The game is a lot of fun. So you kind of have to pretend that it's not there, I guess. That's the one thing that I swear that's the one reason why it's not like a highly sought after.
It's tough because it's like it's high up in the back left and you're like, I am just staring at this GD troll.
I know. Why would you? It's like in 2002 troll, like the treasure trolls or whatever they were. They weren't even popular then. Like not even. They weren't even popular for like 10 years at that point,
Yeah, I don't understand it.
So that one design flaw in there kind of, I don't know, kind of screwed up that. And for me at first I was kind of like, I don't know. I don't know if I want a pinball with a troll in it in my living room or in my basement or anything. But then I was watching more videos of it, and I kind of remembered playing it and stuff, and it is a really fun game. So that's a possibility as well. But then again, this week as well, I believe this happened this week as well. I was talking to Whitney from the Broken Token podcast, and we were talking for maybe an hour and a half or something like that. And we were talking about, he was wanting to get a Ghostbusters, and I'd kind of been there, and I kind of had come back and said, like the Stern Ghostbusters, the new release. And I kind of come back and been like, meh, I don't know about Stern sometimes. They kind of cut corners on some pinballs. Some are phenomenal, and then some are not so phenomenal. So I was talking to Whitney, and Whitney was saying some of the same things that I really, in my heart of hearts, believe as well, which is that it's an instant classic. The theme is awesome. The sound is amazing on that thing. It's just loud, and it's all LED'd out and everything's super bright, like the playfield, the custom artwork on it. It's actually, it's phenomenal. I think this is going to be like one of those AAA Stern pinballs. I mean, they have them sometimes. I mean, like I said, Lord of the Rings, I thought Tron was amazing. Simpsons Pinball Party, to name a few. They've really had some huge AAA titles, and I think this might just be an instant classic. So I've kind of come back around. So whatever I get as far as the Pinbot or F-14 or the Roller Coaster Tycoon, I'm also going to, I decided, I'm almost positive, I'm going to buy a Stern Ghostbusters as well, new in box. So I'm kind of back to that now. I want to play it a little bit more because I did play it at the Expo, and I thought it was really cool. And I actually did pay to play it one time, too, because the line was kind of long on the machines that they had in there. So I think this might be my next step, and this might be a thing in a couple of weeks. I might actually have a new unbox Stern Ghostbusters. It's just one of those things that you look at and you're like, you can't get that particular experience in a classic pin. I mean, it just creates this atmosphere, like the music is awesome, and the sounds and the lights are just awesome, and the gameplay is good, and the artwork is phenomenal, and all that stuff. So I don't know, what did you think when you were looking at videos and stuff?
I thought it was crazy. I mean, I think you kind of hit the nail on the head right there when you said you don't get that experience out of a classic pin, and there are plenty of phenomenal classic pins, but when you look at that Ghostbusters, it's over the top in such a great way, from the lights to the sound to the, just
artwork.
To the artwork. Yeah, everything about it just reeks of AAA premium. It's an experience you're not going to find anywhere else, and I think you're right. I think they kind of hit this one out of the park. It looks great.
The biggest complaint I've seen from a lot of people is like, it's too hard, and you know what? I said this to you earlier this week, and I mean it. I'm terrible at pinball anyways. Every pinball is hard to me. Like, that doesn't stop me from enjoying them. Like, who cares if it's hard? I don't. Flash Gordon's like the hardest pinball I've ever played, and I think a lot of people would attest to that as well. I love the game. I'm going to keep it in my collection forever. I just really like the game. I'm terrible at it. It's really hard, but it's fun. So that's never scared me away from anything. I think the experience of playing this is just kind of stands alone, though, and the artwork is crazy on it. I mean, it's just so vivid, and so is the sound. I mean, the sound is awesome too. They have the Ghostbusters music, and all the music that they have other than that is kind of atmospheric, it seems like, too. So it has a little like in Medieval Madness, they have the trolls that pop up. You have like the troll mode where the trolls' heads pop up and they kind of get in your way and you kind of got to hit them. They kind of got like a feature like that. It's like the Scoleri brothers or something like that, where there's little inserts that pop up and kind of get in your way. And I think that's pretty cool too. They kind of borrowed from a good classic on that. So I think that's probably in my future here. So I'm kind of deciding. I realize that 5, 6 pins, 6 pins is probably my max as far as my space goes. Pins take up a lot of space. So I'm excited about that. It's going to be something that, in the next couple of weeks, I'll know even more. So pinball wise, that's what I have. And again, this is one of those things that I'm just passionate about. You know how I get about things like the Game Gear and the Master System and all that stuff like we do. I'm into pinballs right now. I'm really excited by them. So therefore, I shall have them, and many of them, I think. So I know we have kind of a lot of stuff to talk about today. So that's really all I'm going to say. I'm kind of right now though. This is like blasphemy. If you would talk to me from a week ago, I'd be like, you'd probably be like, who am I talking to, Mitch? What did you do with Mitch? Is that the F14 and Pinbot? I really hope that goes through, but I'm kind of like almost leaning towards the Roller Coaster Tycoon, troll and all, even with the troll. Because here's the thing, you keep this in mind too. One of the cool things is they just actually came out with a color DMD display for it. So, instead of just the standard orange, they actually have like a color DMD that you can get for it. Plus, I almost guarantee the one thing I don't like about the Ghostbusters is the last thing I'll say about it is the red DMDs. I just can't get used to those. The red displays in the back.
Yeah, I was looking at more of them this weekend. It didn't bother me, but I haven't played them. So like in pictures, it didn't really bother me all that much. But like I said, I haven't played any of it.
But this is a title they've done a lot. The color DMD people have done some newer pins, a lot of newer pins. And I'm almost 100% positive that that's going to be what they do with Ghostbusters as well. I'm almost, because it's a popular enough pin where they're back ordered on all of them. I mean, all of them are back ordered everywhere. Because people are trying to get... So being a popular pinball already, I think they're probably going to come up with that. So the one gripe I have about it is that orange is fine. Red looks weird to me. It just doesn't... I can't get used to that. I just can't.
Well, and especially with a lot of the green on the Ghostbusters, you get a little holiday.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So, yeah. Well... so anyway, that's my thoughts on that. I'm super excited about it. I can't wait to, and you know what? It might change. It changes every week, doesn't it?
Yeah. Well,
I'm always like, I hate being so indecisive about stuff. But again, like I said last week, I want to make the right decisions. And I think I've got some pretty good idea what I want to do right now. So anyway,
right on.
Yeah. So what else you got, Mike?
Well, I think, you know what, we forgot to hit on this last week, but 2 new Sonic games were announced. Sonic Mania, which is a throwback title to get fans of the old Sonic excited, and then another project they're calling Sonic 2017 that they didn't release a ton of details on. But man, I want a good Sonic. Like, Sonic 4 came out as a download on PlayStation 3, and I got to it and I went, all right, this ain't all that fun. And I really, 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 really hope that the Sonic Mania comes out and it re-energizes the Sonic series, because I think Sonic is a character. I mean, detached. I
think that too.
Detached from the Mario versus Sonic. Sonic as a character is great.
Right, sure.
And I hope that kind of gets people back excited about it. I don't know if it's going to be a full $60 title. I'd assume it'd be a downloadable title, $20-$30.
Yep.
And then hopefully they can bring Sonic into the current gen with Sonic 2017 and really tell a story, because there's a lot there to jump into with Sonic. And it holds a special place in my heart as a Sega person growing up. And the last, I don't know, 5 or 6 games have been just terrible. I mean, I don't think there's been a good one since Sonic CD, essentially. So,
yeah, I guess I haven't played the last couple ones. I got to put on a side note here too. Watching all these videos on the Roller Coaster Tycoon and stuff. The reason, and there's a reason I'm bringing this up, but like listening to the sounds and stuff on that, there are a lot of things that really kind of remind me sound-wise of Sonic, and actually that's consciously has been something that I've been like, that actually like makes me, kind of tilts me that way, because I have such fond memories of the music in Sonic, obviously, other than the gameplay. So that's cool. So looking forward to that. So when is that supposed to come out?
So both of them are 2017, unfortunately. I was
That's not that far away.
Yeah, well, it's not, but I was just hoping they're like, Sonic Mania, it's going to be available September, and get ready for a current gen Sonic in early mid 2017 or whatever. But hey, it seems like hey, it seems like they're going to start taking this one serious and go, hey, because I think the last few Sonic games have just been licensed out. Sega's been licensing shit out all the time.
In fact, I always thought I thought the Nintendo had the licenses at this point.
Or do they do? Yeah. You're right. But yeah, essentially, it's just been licensed out. Regardless, it's been licensed out.
Which makes it interesting that they would be licensed out as a next gen, right? Like for Sony and Microsoft.
Yeah, that's a good point. Well, yeah, it makes a good point. I don't know who the developer is.
I think it's probably more complex than that. Like, I don't think it's just cut and dry like that. So you're probably right, though.
Yeah, so Sonic Mania is going to be developed by Headcanon. I don't know anything about Headcanon. So we'll see how it turns out. But it seems like, somebody's taking the Sonic license serious. So I'm excited to see that. Well, the trailers are on YouTube. Go check them out. But
the time is right now too for a new Sonic, especially, there's a lot of nostalgia going around in gaming right now, and that's kind of what's a hit with a lot of people. So I think the timing's right to come out with a good
Sonic.
Good Sonic for sure. It's been a while. You're right.
Yeah, and so it's also announced for the Nintendo NX as well. So I don't know, man. It's pretty excited for that. So
that's awesome. Well, to add on to that, to piggyback on that as well, let me go ahead and just point out one thing. So I sent you a picture earlier this week. Were you surprised?
Yeah, speaking of Sega, yeah, so you, I think, I forgot what episode, but a few episodes back, I think we did hit on the fact that you were trying to track down some UPC stickered US releases of Sonic and Strider, and UMF got both of them.
This was a thing that this was months ago. Shoot, this might have been in like April, or maybe May. I don't remember. It was months ago when I'd gotten in touch with this guy, because what I'd done is he put up a blue Ghostbusters, and I was like, for bidding, and I was like, look, man, will you take $80 for it? I feel like that's a fair thing or whatever. And he's like, yeah, for sure. Is there anything else you need? And I was like, well, as a matter of fact, blah, blah, blah. I need this and this. And I think he was kind of hesitant to dump his Sega collection, but that was kind of where he was headed. So he's like, okay, cool. Well, give me like a week or two or something. I got to sort out all my Sega collection. And I was like, cool. Then a week or two later, I don't hear from him. And I had said on that podcast as well, like, part of me is kind of hoping that he just doesn't do it because it's a lot of cash out of my pocket once again. And then part of me is like, okay, man, this is my one chance, I might not see these things again for a long, long time.
Yeah.
So, anyway, so I kind of thought he just like decided to keep his collection and was like, whatever. So I get a PayPal request, just randomly, I guess, earlier in the week, I think on Monday. And I was like, what is this? Who's this? And I see it says for Sonic and Strider US UPC. And I was like, all right, okay. I was like, man, especially when I got a big stack of cash, everybody wants it. So anyway, so I ponied up, and now I have all 4 US UPC Sega Master System games. So that's a pretty good feeling right there. So
yeah,
literally the only thing we're missing right now is Outrun, Blue Outrun.
Blue Outruns, that's what we need.
Dude has it too, and I might be able to pry it away for like $300, but I don't know if I'm willing to take that step right this second.
Yeah,
I got too much other dollars going to other places. So anyways, that's perfect that you brought up the Sonic from last week too, because I got my Sonic, and and I gotta say, they both look way better than they looked in the pictures. I think, I don't know if it was lighting or whatever, but they kind of look beat up in the pictures, but I think they look pretty fantastic from my point of view. I just sold my Strider and Sonic like instantly within an hour on eBay. I got $70 back, so that was a thing. And so I got a little
kind of subsidizes it a little bit,
but not quite enough. But it's okay, it's all good. I ended up netting, or net what I ended up paying for him was about $250. So after getting rid of my copies of everything, so yeah, I'm super stoked about it. And I feel like it's just one of those things where Outrun is just we're gonna get like a slew of them at once. That's just always the way it happens. It's been years since I've seen one, but like we said on Rambo, I mean, shit, like I got 3 of them within like a very short period of time. So, and I've seen other ones pop up since. So it just seems like things come into season, and when they're in season, they're ripe for the picking. So,
yep.
Anyway, I just wanted to add that in there too. So yeah. So moving right along, what you got?
Let's hit on this one because I was tweeting yesterday. Mm-hmm. So Microsoft has allowed people to create their own Xbox controllers, colors, thumbsticks, all sorts of fun stuff. And it's a general Xbox controller, and you get to pick out colors and all these other things. And I would assume most people would do some sort of theme that they like, or some sports team, or yada yada yada.
Yeah.
They're $79. Mm-hmm. It's an extra 10 for engraving. And so a normal Xbox controller is $60, so this is $90.
Yep.
Yesterday I was like, I need one of these.
Couple drinks in,
and I made it as everything that I could make purple. I made purple, and then I put black buttons on it with white text, and then I paid the extra $10 to just simply get Prince engraved on it.
Nice.
So I doubt I'll use it, but I was like, I didn't want it to look like the Vikings,
right? So
I didn't do any of the gold or yellow, which Prince does have some gold, but they don't have gold. It was only yellow that was available. So purple controller, purple back, purple shoulder buttons, purple thumbsticks, and then just black face buttons, and then a purple D-pad.
You said you tweeted this thing?
Yeah. If you're on Twitter, it should be.
I'm about to check it out.
Yeah, take a look at it. It looks great. I don't actually. You know what? I'll retweet it because I think I posted it on my personal account. I will go ahead and retweet that, and then you can see it right away because I think everybody else would want to see it.
I see it. I got it.
Is it it's the one with the black buttons, right? Not the white.
Yeah, black buttons. Yep. White text.
Yep.
Spiffy. So when are you supposed to get that thing in?
I have no idea. I think
a one of a kind for sure.
Yeah, I think it's like a 4-week lead time.
Where are they going to engrave Prince on it?
Right below and centered between the thumbstick and the D-pad.
Oh, okay, cool. So by the way, twitter.com/RetroGameFix. That is us. So check it out. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, that sounds amazing, dude. That's actually a pretty cool idea. I don't even know what like kind of theme I would do if I had an X bone.
Yeah, I don't know. I was just like, they've got purple. I'm getting everything purple.
Cool.
So is what it is. And then I guess.
Well, that's why your daughter's name is Violet too. So that makes sense.
Yeah, her name is Violet. Yeah, I was like, I should probably order another one and put Violet on it. No, I'm gonna put Prince on it. But yeah, so moving on, I also did a bunch of other collecting this weekend, specifically for my Vita collection and the WiiU.
Tell me you got a Retro City Rampage.
I did not get a Retro City Rampage, unfortunately. God. Yeah, fortunately, I'm going to wait for the right buy on eBay. There was some that I just missed when I realized that I wanted one last week. I will get one. I will definitely get one of those. So
I believe you.
So anyway, people can go, why collect physical media on the Vita or the WiiU? A couple reasons, really. A, they're less popular systems, and B, especially as we're getting later in the life cycle of these things, when games drop on them that I want to play, they go fast, they're becoming harder to find, and once they're a little bit harder to find, the prices go up on the games, and so I want to get them before they're too expensive, aka Retro City Rampage on Vita. Yep. So I picked up a game called Zero. What the hell is it called? So anyway, let me give you some background. Zero Time Dilemma. And I don't know why I had a brain fart, but anyway, this Zero Time series.
Do we ever know why?
Yeah, it goes back to 3DS. And it's kind of they're kind of thinking games and weird concept games where you're kind of thinking how to get out of rooms and how to combine stuff, and you go through multiple playthroughs in order to get the entire story. And so anyway, this Zero Time Dilemma just came out early July, I think, and impossible to find physical. Like Best Buy didn't even pick it up. Like a lot of places aren't even carrying Vita games anymore.
So is that why it's so hard to get? I mean, nobody's carrying it, or
nobody,
was it just like a limited release or something?
No, I mean, nobody carries Vita games anymore, so they don't press a lot of these things. Okay. And you can get it digital, and I was like, well, you know what? I'm back on the physical. And so I find that a GameStop right up the road from me has one in stock. And obviously, you can still find stuff on Amazon. When we say stuff is harder to find, it's more about the immediate gratification aspect of being able to go to a retail outlet and pick it up. Mm-hmm. But I get to the GameStop, and I was like, hey, I'm looking for Zero Time Dilemma. Do you have one? And the girl working goes, we do. And then the other guy working's like, we do. I just have to make sure I can sell it. And apparently somebody had put it on hold like a month ago. Okay. Like, what the fuck are you holding it for a month for?
Yeah.
And he goes,
how does that work?
He goes, well, let me call somebody, because I've had this conversation with the other manager, and he never really gives me a yes or no if I should sell this thing. And I don't know if were trying to hold. I don't know what they were trying to hold it for, what they were doing. But the guy's like, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to sell it. I'm like, great. So he sold it to me, and I hope that pisses off that other manager that was not letting him sell it for some reason.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So I got that. And then so there was the Mighty Number 9 game came out, and that was the spiritual successor to Mega Man. I don't know if you remember that Kickstarter.
Yeah, I do remember it.
The game apparently is kind of crappy. But again, on Wii U, apparently the game doesn't run very good. But again, a GameStop had a physical copy, and
nice.
They had it for $22. So I was like, well, I want to get that because I'm on a journey to get all of the Nintendo published and exclusive Wii U games. So I grabbed that. Then I grabbed a special edition copy of Tokyo Mirage Sessions, which is kind of a JRPG, which is a little bit harder to find. And then I also grabbed a game called Devil's Third, which was really hard to find for Wii U, where they were fetching about $150, $200. They released a second print, but I found that at GameStop as well, and for $47. So I added those to the collection as well. So
damn, dude.
Yeah, so making some moves there. I think I think back just to almost a physical conversation. I mean, the thing is, just to be clear, this isn't something that I'm collecting because they're going to go up in value and I want to capitalize on it. I'm collecting them now because they're going to go up in value and I don't want to pay more for them later.
And yeah, and absolutely. And that's a conversation in itself right there. I think we should head there for sure.
So yeah, I mean, that's kind of the big thing. And we're seeing that right now, right?
Yeah.
Physical media is harder to come by on a lot of these systems. And even when you walk into stores now, even a Target or Walmart, whatever it might be, the game sections are not what they used to be.
Right.
I mean, yes, you get your little aisle, but it's just, maybe they are, but it's just, look, it's a changing landscape right now. And for stuff that has a little niche and a place in my heart, like I want to get those games. And it's, the physical stuff and just these consoles, these things that are, it's the end of the life, right? Physical media is kind of going away, especially on these smaller systems or less purchase systems. And I just want to be a part of it. I just want to have it. So,
well, we're just collectors, like I said. And the thing is, you've got the right idea with the Wii U, at least with all the Nintendo published stuff. It's exactly what I'd be doing as well. The Nintendo published stuff is awesome. That's where it's at, and why not collect it? I mean, some of my favorite things are I love collecting 3DS stuff. I just love it, dude. I love the little box and stuff. I love to display them. And, I just love the satisfaction of when I swap out a game, just go throw it back in the case, open a different case up, grab it. I don't know. There's some kind of like simple, underrated satisfaction for me, at least, for something like that.
Yeah, well, and it's funny because a lot of the podcasts I've listened to, I've heard a lot of people selling their collections and stuff like that, and totally cool. I can get it, man. I get it. It takes up a lot of space to have a collection. I mean, shit, I'm basically out of space for all of my stuff. But the one thing that and I'm not pointing to any particular podcast, I'm just speaking more in general. The one thing that does rub me a little bit the wrong way is when somebody who decides to sell their collection then all of a sudden turns and has the opinion that, well, anybody with a collection's doing it wrong. And it's like, no, not really. I'm glad that you sold your collection, you got some money out of it, but I still enjoy collecting these things. As it's not life-changing, but it's like, you want the money, you want the space, fine. Go ahead and do that. But I still want to spend my money on this stuff and put it on the shelf. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, it's just a lot of people are like that. It's like, well, I got out of it, so everybody else has to get out of it. No, that's not the way that works out. In fact, if I were petty, I'd be like, you sold out, literally sold out, and now you're trying to justify your guilty feeling or whatever the hell you're feeling. Oh, it's childish now that I just sold all my stuff. Really? Well, say that to the asshole that just dumped a bunch of money on your collection or something like that. And it's like, so what, man? I enjoy doing it. I just do. And I would actually venture into saying that I am kind of like, I'm not a hoarder on many things, but with my Sega Master System collection, for example, it's beautiful. It's amazing. But I'm like, I got to move it from the basement because I kind of want to change my basement arcade into like, I want to be able to, hang a TV on the wall or something and watch football down there as well and just be cool. And I kind of need that space where my stuff is. So either I find another spot for it or I seal it up in like vacuum seal bags or some shit like that, box them up, and then like...
Which is no fun. That's like, nah, I don't want to do that.
Right. So, but anyways, all I'm saying is that I just enjoy collecting. There's a certain satisfaction, especially when we were doing the Sega Master System Marathon. There's a certain satisfaction with like every week, because I started off doing it every week. So every week I'd get a game in the mail. That's fucking cool. It's like the Sega Master System Book Club or something. There's just a certain satisfaction of doing that, and then when I get it, I put it on the shelf. And that's the extent of it, but it's satisfying enough for me to justify it,
Yeah, I'm with you. I love it. And, that's not to say, and look, I don't know if that's everyone's intent that they're trying to say, well, I got out of it, so, it's not cool anymore. But I think sometimes there's just this implied, now that I'm not doing it, it's not cool. I just feel like, kind of what you eat doesn't make me.
That's what it feels
kind of
like.
Thing. And it's like, no, you can get out of it and still respect the game, right? Respect the fun that other people are having with it. And does any of this really move the needle? No, dude, I've got a pile of WiiU games that I haven't even played, but I get satisfaction out of finding them, going and buying them, tracking them down, having them on the shelf. It's just fun. And we've talked about it before. Hobbies are different for everybody. Some people spend $300-$400 to golf on weekends. Some people buy, you know what I'm saying? And like, we buy video games. That's what we do. And
there's not much of a difference there, like as far as golf, it's like an experience. Well, gaming's an experience as well. It's like what, I kind of jokingly, but I kind of mean it too. It's like at some point when you get old enough, you're like, yeah, life is kind of doesn't really have a big point to it, except we kind of bide our time until we die. I know that's a really it's nihilistic view or whatever, but
kind of, but I think it's realistic to the point that you go, at some point you just get older and you get comfortable and you go, okay, what do I want to do to enjoy my time?
Right. There's nothing wrong with it. Like everybody's got a hobby or some kind of thing. Otherwise they're probably not super happy as far as that goes. Or maybe they are. I don't know. But all I'm saying is that most people I think have some kind of hobby or something that makes them happy, whether it's, collecting collecting games, or if it was like, watching wrestling or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, who cares? Who cares? You know, whatever it is, it's like, it's nothing to piss on or anything. Everybody's got certain things that make them happy. And that really, I mean, if there is any kind of point to life, it's just about enjoying it, you know, like try to enjoy it and try to make your time, you know, fun while you're here, you know? So
yeah, I'm with you. Yeah. So I mean, that's just a fun
kind of
stuff.
a deep conversation there, but yeah, no, I'm with you though. I've heard that too, where it's just been like, you know, I don't do this anymore, so it's no longer cool. And, whether that's the intention or not, sometimes that's the way it comes out, you know? And, I'm with you. I'm like, I just enjoy it, man. That's like, you can piss on it if you want, but it's not going to make a difference to me, I guess. I'm still going to collect. And if I ever decide to dump my collection someday, I'm not going to come back and be like, oh, God, that was stupid, because I've had some good times, you know? Like I said, like when we first started the Sega Master System Marathon, like getting a game in the mail every week, and then it turned into 2 games, and then sometimes it turned into 5 games a week, you know?
Yeah, and I mean, just the people that you meet along the way, and there's just a lot of fun there.
I don't know. It was pretty satisfying getting that Sonic and Strider. I'm not even going to lie. This week, it was kind of one of those where I was like, I missed this. So, you know, I'm going to kind of put it on pause right now. That's the last big, unless an Outrun comes up. Yeah, I'll spend $300 on it. But I'm not going to actively like try to pry it out of anybody's hands right now. If one pops up on eBay, I would totally do it, because I haven't seen one in years. But that's the last, besides the Blue Outrun, that's the last major investment I'm going to have in my Sega Master System collection.
Right on.
So anyway, so yeah, what else you got, man? Do we got anything else today?
Well, we got 2 other things.
Go for it.
I don't know. I didn't put it in the chat, but I don't know if you saw, I moved my PC up onto a shelf. If you look at Twitter.
I did.
Yeah, so I did that. I got everything moved around, bought a new 40-inch for some mouse and keyboard gaming. I just can't play on a 28-inch, which I had. So I had the 228-inch, so I moved one over. So I actually bought this bigger, it's just a TV. And people are going to be like, hey, TV for PC gaming. Dude, I could go into the tech, I could go into it for hours, but they refresh at 60 hertz. That's 60 frames a second. Input lag, you know, I'm not competitive gaming. It's all good. And I wanted it really to play kind of point and click RPGs and games like City Skyline or Roller Coaster Tycoon, and just have a nice big screen in front of me. So I picked that up. And then the other thing was this mini NES Raspberry Pi.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. So tell them about that.
So the mini NES gets announced, which looks fucking dope. And then someone came out and showed that they had a mini NES based on the Raspberry Pi that actually also allows them that they 3D printed the case. They modded the board to make the USB ports front facing, so you can plug in USB NES controllers to it. And then they also modded it by putting an NFC chip in it that allows you to put in cartridges that, through NFC, tell the NES emulator what game to play. Yep,
that's so cool.
Brilliant.
And it really was. And like, man, I'm really impressed by the quality of 3D printed stuff. And I guess you kind of, to get that smooth finish, you kind of have to sand and stuff.
Yeah,
because they usually come out pretty rough looking.
Yeah, they do. So yeah, he definitely did some work there. But
man, it looks awesome. And the mini cartridges that he came out with, he made little labels for them and stuff. I mean, they look like miniature, miniature NES games. They're spot on. I mean, that's so cool. The only thing that I was like, I probably wouldn't have made the controllers mini though.
No, did he? I guess I didn't see the full thing. Did he do mini controllers?
He did mini controllers. I was like,
yeah, you could plug anything into it at that point, though. I think that was maybe just to be like, hey, while I'm doing it, I might as well make a mini controller.
I would make it, but I would not use it. So, but it was cool. I mean, he had like, I think he downloaded on his phone or something like I think it was like a Pokemon game or something for the SNES, or I think which I wasn't even sure they had them at that point. But anyway, he just downloaded it on his phone and threw it on a flash cart that he had for it and threw it right in there and booted right up. I mean, it's amazing. It's seamless too. There's no like loading ROM ... or anything like that. It goes right into the game, which is it's amazing, dude. I wish I were that technically gifted.
Yeah, it's crazy because I have a Raspberry Pi sitting right next to me.
Do that.
And I'm looking at it and I'm just like, I don't know how to move USB ports. I'd have to desolder these things, turn it sideways, solder wires over to make it work. Like, nah, I don't know how to do that.
No. But it's cool. And you know, I've thought a lot more about the $60 mini NES that's coming out too. I gotta have one.
Gotta have it.
I was kind of one of those things that we were talking about last time, kind of jokingly at the end, and kind of jokingly, but we know we're serious too, where it's like, I don't want to spend $60, but I'm about to spend like $7,600 on like pinball machines and crap. So like, I'm like, $60, but I'm like, you know, that's just the way I am. I'm cheap until I'm not, you know, but yeah. I gotta have one. I gotta be a day one person. Well, I mean, you know, they're going to short supply everything and it's going to be hard to get your hands on one. But as soon as I see one, I'm totally going to snipe one.
Yeah. Well, I was, that was about that short supply. I was thinking about this a little more. I don't know if they will. I think this is going to be one of those things that Nintendo doesn't have anything, this holiday season. And I think this is going to be one of those things that they can mass produce a bunch of them. And I hope, actually, maybe I'm saying this because I'm hoping it more than I actually think it's going to happen. But where you just see stacks of them in Walgreens, Target, Walmart, you know, wherever you might go, here's this $60 NES thing, because it's an impulse deal. And most people aren't going to give a crap about it after the holiday passes. I mean, this is one of those like, oh, hey, they've got a mini NES. Oh, I'll throw $60 as a stocking stuffer. So I just really hope they make enough of them. And I'm sick of, especially with Nintendo, them undercutting, like it just doesn't work anymore to try to create demand, because essentially what happens is a bunch of scalpers buy up the market and then they take them to eBay at 3 or 4 times the price. And like Nintendo, you're better served just to get that money in your pocket.
It's probably Nintendo scalping their own stuff. They're like, what's the retail? What's the market for this? $60? Let's make it $1,000 or some shit like that. Let's produce like X amount of them. We'll have an infinite amount of them. And just keep selling them for $1,000 because they'll be in such high demand or something. It's probably Nintendo's probably the scalpers.
It wouldn't surprise me one bit.
that in itself would kind of be brilliant. So, anyway, but I got to get me one of those as soon as that comes out. If I can find one, I got to buy one, no matter what. I mean, it's $60.
I just wanted to put it on my shelf, man.
Absolutely.
Like, I'll open it because I open everything, but I just want to put it on my shelf.
Yeah, I don't even know if I'll get to like playing it because I can play all those games already, and I don't play them currently for the most part. So, you know, I would like to have one. Just put it on the shelf for sure. Put it on my shelf full of that's overflowing with retro games right now that I need to do something about it. But you know, it is what it is. So, yeah,
I can't. I think that's.
That about covers it, right?
Yeah, I think that pretty much covers it, other than I do want to say the other piece when we were talking pins, and we talked about this yesterday. So if people haven't noticed this, there's 2 things Mitch and I usually talk about when we talk to each other. It's either video games or it's music. Mm-hmm. And I really hope a Motley Crue pinball comes out.
I know. It's kind of one of those things where it's like a gold mine and you know, just content. I figured too, I was like, as far as music pins goes, because Stern has really been into like a lot of music stuff lately. They did like Kiss, Rolling Stones, Metallica, AC/DC, to name most of them. I think I might be missing something, but I I just feel like that would be content wise, that would be kind of a treasure trove of cool stuff. And I felt like too, I was talking about this in one that I'm like, man, a band that totally deserves a pinball just because the artwork would be so cool would be like Iron Maiden.
Yeah, Iron Maiden would be awesome as well.
Because specifically, like, I mean, you know,
like how does Iron Maiden not have a pinball?
I don't know, because especially through their songs, you have all this like, I don't know. I mean, I like Iron Maiden, but you know, a lot of it's like, you know, I don't know, fantasy stories and stuff. I don't know. It's just got a lot of content that would be like suitable for a pinball, I would think. Like, especially with the artwork and all that stuff. I feel like that's so much. There's so much that you could do with that. And speaking of which, actually, I said that yesterday, and today I have Sirius XM or whatever. I put it on one of the stations, and really side note here, but I feel like I'm just going to throw it in anyways. Biggest disappointment I've ever had in my life was Iron Maiden's The X Factor CD. You know, back when we could get like a CD every once in a while instead of getting like all the music we want on demand. Mm-hmm. I bought it, and they had a new singer. Is it like Blaze Bailey or something? What was his name? I don't even remember. It wasn't Bruce Dickinson, who puts his pants on one leg at a time like the rest of us. But the only difference is he makes gold records. But Blaze Bailey, on the other hand, or whatever the hell his name was, I don't remember what his name was. It was fucking horrible. This is the worst piece of crap album I think I remember buying. And I challenge you to look that up on Spotify or something like that and try to make it through the entire album without puking. It's that bad.
I'll give it a go.
I heard they had Lord of the Flies on. It was on the Liquid Metal station. They had Lord of the Flies, the song from that album, which is I believe the opening track. I just remember hearing that for the first time and being like, oh boy. And by the end of it, I was like, oh boy, I'm going to listen to this 100 more times. But I did. I listened to it like 100 more times to kind of justify it. And I was kind of in like slight loser denial at that point, and it's fucking terrible. In fact, I think they came out with at least one more album with him, and I hope they didn't sell a copy of it. It was just awful. It was terrible. So we had kind of had that conversation months ago, whereas like it's something to that extent, and that's when I forgot about that. I was like, that was my biggest like loser denial moment as far as music goes, where I was like, I want to like this, but it's horrible.
Yeah, you and that's all you can do is like give it the old college try, I guess. And then all of a sudden you're like,
Back when like $16 was like a lot of money, you know, and you know, it was almost sacred buying a
when $16 was 4 extra value meals instead of just 1.
Yeah, really, exactly. So anyway, yeah, I don't know. I just thought that was appropriate to throw that in there since we were speaking Iron Maiden pinball. But I can't believe that hasn't happened yet. There's like it or hate the music content. It doesn't even matter. Like there's a artwork wise, it's just crazy. Like
I mean, they've done so many, and like we were saying, like I was telling you yesterday, I've got other things I want to spend money on, but if they did a Motley Crue pin, I would be like, how much is it? Oh, $7,000. Here's $7,000. Like, well,
that's the thing is they have different levels. They have the pro and then the premium. So you'd either have the $5,500 or like $7,700.
You know me.
You would have to buy the premium. Of course, you'd have to buy the premium.
You know me, Mitch. I would just be like, they'd be like, "Hey, we've got this Motley Crue pin." I'd be like, "Oh, how much is it?" And they're like, $5,000. And I'll be like, "Okay, I'll take it." And then they'll be like, "But we've got this other premium edition." And I'll be like, "How much extra?" And they're like, $2,000. And I'll be like, "Okay, I'll take it."
Yeah, or like a Prince pinball machine.
If they made a Prince pinball machine, fuck. If they made a Prince pinball machine, I would stay in line for weeks in order to get that. Actually, I got to be honest. I don't want to see. I don't want to see Prince cashed in on. So I hope that would that would never happen. And I don't think anybody has the rights probably to do it. And I don't think anybody will ever get it. But yeah, Because they're doing a lot of Prince like dedication stuff, like New Power Generations doing a tribute show, and I'm like, he's gone, dog. Like, I don't want to be reminded anymore.
Yeah. Well, if they did though, if they came out with Motley Crue and Prince, I'd call you, I'd be like, you broke, man.
You'd be like, you mortgage your house? Like, yup. I got a second mortgage player. And I've got 2 pinballs that I don't have space for in my house now.
Yeah, but it'd be so worth it. You'd never let that thing go. Like, but yeah, even if I bought a Ghostbusters, which again, the Ghostbusters, I'm super excited about. Like now, I'm like after I talked to Whitney, it was like, I was like thinking more about it and what he had said, and I was like, oh, he's right. Damn it. I have to have this. So I would buy that, and my luck is the next pinball they'd come out with like Motley Crue or something. And I'd be like, damn it, I have to buy that too. Now I have like, $10,000 or $11,000 invested in like two pinball machines.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that would make me sick, but I would have to have them.
Yeah.
You know how it is. And then I'd complain about a $50 PlayStation Network fee for the entire year.
I'm with you, player. Yeah, I'm with you. I actually was just looking at a couple other Vita games, and I remembered, so like 3 months ago, there's this Vita game that Best Buy still had in stock, and it was on sale, and then I had Gamers Club Unlocked. Mm-hmm. No shit, it was like $13.
Really?
And I didn't pick it up, because I was like,
$13.
Do I really want to spend $13 on this? Because it's like every now and then it goes in ebbs and flows, and I'm like, I'm never going to play it. I should just stop spending money on stuff like this, so I don't spend the $13. And then again, you like turn around and I'll buy a fucking $500 pair of headphones. It's stupid.
It's just the way we are, man. It's just like I said. I'll complain about something that's $15 or something like that, and I'll be like, oh my God, $15, and then spend over $7,000 on pinball machines.
Well, I do shit like that all the time too. Where like yesterday,
and not even blink. I'm just like, awesome. Here's my money. I'll give it to you. Like, I can't give it to you fast enough,
Yeah. Well, it's even like Friday night. I'm on my way home from work, and Carrie's like, "Hey, what do you want to do for dinner? I've got some turkey thawed. You want to do turkey tacos or something like that?" And I was like, the twins won yesterday, which means we can get half off pizza. And then if the pizza's half off, there's only 2 of us. This is so bad. But then I spend as much as I would have if pizza was regular price. But instead, I just ordered double.
Well, that's probably what they think. Well, the thing is,
and then I'm like, that was $35, and I threw away half of it.
Well, yeah. Well, there's that. But the truth is, you got to strike when the iron's hot, man. That's a rarity if the Twins win a game.
It is, yeah. Well, they won again. So that was funny. They won again today. And so I look over at Carrie and they go, Twins won today. You know what that means? She was like, no, we're not having pizza again tomorrow.
Dude.
I was like,
yes, you are.
I was like, we may have pizza again tomorrow.
Yeah, I think you're going to have pizza again tomorrow. I think I'm going to have pizza tomorrow just in celebration that they actually won a game.
Yeah, I actually can't have pizza tomorrow because our work has a team building event where we're going to go to dinner together and then go pro kart racing. And so actually, funny story, this is video game related. When the pro kart racing thing bubbled up, one of my coworkers emailed out to the entire team like, hey, watch out for Jeff and Josh. Their team shake and bake, and then sent out a picture of Talladega Nights,
like Ricky Bobby,
and then I was like, I tweeted, I emailed back, I ain't worried, and then she put a picture of Mario with a blue shell.
Nice.
And then then Thursday night we had to do server updates, so I was working Thursday night, and I got done with my server updates first, so I emailed the team and just put first server updates done, just like carts on Monday. And then I found a Super NES version of the podium, and Toad was on top. I took Toad's face off and put my face on Toad and emailed that out to everybody.
Nice.
Yeah. So now I've set the bar, so I better come out and win pro karts tomorrow night.
Oh man, that sounds that right when you said team building exercise, I was just thinking like, oh my god.
No,
but then you decided you had mentioned that part, and I was like, oh, okay, all right.
yeah, well, it's usually
That sounds awesome.
It's usually pretty fun. Yeah, I mean, honestly, they usually take us out to like, it's not team building in the traditional sense. They're like, hey, we can all go get $70 steaks, and then go spend money on pro go karting.
No, that sounds amazing.
And I'm like, yeah, where do I sign up? Let's do that.
I would like to join your team.
So, so all employee meeting time of the year on Tuesday. And then anyway, the other cool part's Tuesday. We go to an all employee meeting for a half a day. And then the other half of the day, we go on like a river ride and just kind of get drunk.
Ah, dude. That sounds amazing.
Yeah, so I'm going to get a $60, $70 steak. Going to go do some pro karting. Going to take a...
I'm vicious on those things, dude.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. I should go buy a like plush like turtle shell.
Oh, totally.
And like hide it in my shirt and in the middle of a race.
You should just go get somebody. You should just get like an endangered, like find an endangered turtle or something like that and just grab its shell and actually bring that. Then that would show that you're hardcore.
Oh, yeah. Oh, by the way, speaking of hilarious, I saw someone rear end somebody at like 40 miles per hour today.
Really?
Yeah. I was going the other direction and I saw this person going to take a left. And this woman it was a Suburban, and the car that rear-ended it was like a smaller like Corolla.
Yeah.
Boom! Just smokes a Suburban. She's probably like more like 35, 40. Airbags deploy. I'm laughing about it because no one got hurt. So I turn around because I saw it.
I was going to say, you probably turned around, didn't you?
Yeah, I turned around because I saw it. And I pull up, and by the time I found a place to turn around and then pull up, the Suburban had kind of pulled up out of the way. The people in the Suburban and got in all their car and were hanging out. Smoke is just rolling out of this woman's car because she drilled them. And all of her airbags went off, and she's just still sitting in the car. And I pull up alongside of it, and I'm like, everything good? I just saw that. And they're like, yeah, everything's good. And I'm like, cool. And then I just drove off.
You're like, that was awesome.
I probably should have I could provide a police report. I was just like, but the first thing, two things. First thing I thought was she playing Pokemon Go? I don't know if she was. So the second thing, anyway, I had to go to Mall of America today to pick up one of the other GameStop or one of the other Wii U games that's a little harder to find. And usually going to the Mall of America is the biggest pain in the ass. Pro tip. For anyone still listening, go into the front of Mall of America and park on the west side. If you go into the front and then take the ramp up on the west side, you don't got to deal with all the bullshit traffic. So second, I'm in Mall of America. Everything's going great. I'm like, oh my God, this is great. It actually wasn't jam-packed. I get into GameStop. They have my game. I'm leaving. It's all good. Until I almost got ran over by a stampede of people going to try to catch a rare Pokemon.
There was like a bunch of people going after the same one?
Yeah, because it's not like you can catch everybody if you're in the space. If it's like up for 10 minutes, everybody's there can catch it.
Oh, I see. So like one person doesn't just snag it or something.
Right. So anyway, I'm walking out of the GameStop and I'm on the third floor. And all of a sudden, I see people running with their phones. And I didn't hear anything completely specific other than like rare. And I was like, them MFers are running for a Pokemon.
That's just, I don't know. Again, we talked about it before. It's like, whatever your hobby is, whatever makes you happy, whatever. So I'm not going to say anything. I
Pokemon hunted twice today when I was out walking Violet. So I ain't going to.
Did you really?
Yeah, I ain't going to hate. I just almost got ran over by them in the Mall of America.
You got stampede.
And I got to be honest, there's only one place that's worse than the Mall of America usually, and that's the DMV. So,
oh my God, that'd be hilarious if one showed up at the DMV.
Well, no, I was just like, man, I hope nobody like falls off of the 3rd floor of MOA trying to go catch a poke.
Or not.
Maybe.
You'd be like, I saw that. Or do you need it?
Yeah, I'd take the escalator down to the 1st floor and be like, "Are you okay?" And he's like, "No, I'm dead." And I'm like, "You're talking." He's like, "But I'm gonna die because I landed on my head." And
You're
I'm
just like, cool.
Well, see you later. Anyway,
fantastic. Well, with that, I think we're gonna wrap up our podcast here. So for RetroGameFix.com, the Retro Jones podcast, that's what it is. The podcast number 83?
83 of them.
This is Mitch.
This is Mike.
We'll catch you next time.
See ya.